What's up, guys? Coming to you today with Week 11 college football action on a packed Saturday of NCAA football here on November 8th. We're going to cover a bunch of the biggest games of the day, and I'll give you my massive lock of the day and my favorite underdog pick of the day, so slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and personnel changes coming in at the last second. Yesterday, guys, looking like a potentially a little bit rough one, potentially still really, really good. The only play that's not looking great is the Jazz plus 11.5, but still in the first half of an NBA game, anything can happen. We got the Raptors going as our dog of the day. Houston blew a big lead there right around halftime. They were looking like the better team. A lot of mistakes being made there by their ball handlers, though. So we'll see how that goes. Tari Eason only needs one more bucket to cash his over on points, so that would be great. And obviously, we've got some late game action there going on. Denver minus 10, Oklahoma City, Sacramento over 231.5. So we'll see how those finish up. Trying to get this video, this college football video, out to you early so you guys can take advantage of all the early lines. We've also got a packed day of premium action there to cover. We'll recap that, and also tons of premium stuff coming up there for NCAA football Saturday. So get in on that if you guys are interested. But let's go ahead and dive into our first game today. Like I said, a very loaded slate of college football action here on Saturday. Already week 11. And right here, right off the bat, we've got the BYU Cougars, the number 7 BYU Cougars, going on the road to take on the number 8 Texas A&M Aggies. BYU comes in this game fresh off a very solid 41-27 blowout win there at Iowa State. Yeah, Iowa State not having a great time here down the stretch, but BYU still undefeated, playing great. Maybe not the toughest schedule, but wins over Utah, at Arizona, comfortably knocking off Iowa State. Things are looking pretty good, and they played that one on the road, and they played really, really well. Bachmeier, good day, 2 touchdowns, 307 yards through the air. Also did a great job in the ground game, and yeah, really BYU got whatever they wanted offensively in this game, putting up 41 points, looking very comfortable. Also, Iowa State didn't have a good time against that BYU defense. It looked dominant, picking them off 3 times, so 3 interceptions there for the Cougars defensively. They did give up 184 rushing yards, but generated a total of 4 turnovers. Still give up 27 points, so maybe defense could be considered a concern, but over the course of the year, this is one of the better defensive teams out there. They're giving up 17 points per game. That's 16th in the college football. So we'll see what they do here, going on the road to play in a very tough environment against a very tough opponent, facing number 8 Texas Tech. The Red Raiders, they come into this game 8-1 on the season. Their lone loss was a tough 26-22 loss there at Arizona State. Their last 2 weeks, a blowout win over Oklahoma State, and then a 43-20 win there at Kansas State. This is also a team that maybe hasn't been super tested. This is by far their biggest game of the season, so we'll see if they can step up a little bit here. Obviously, did great against Kansas State, blowing out the Wildcats. We liked what we saw from Morton in general. I mean, 2 touchdowns, but 1 interception. Jacoby Williams went nuts in the ground game. 135 yards on 17 carries and a touchdown. Cameron Dickey, 21 carries, 68 yards there. So definitely stopping the run is going to be a big focus there of BYU. And defensively, Texas Tech only gave up 20 points, had a couple of interceptions in the game. They also gave up a good amount to the run, but generated a total of 5 turnovers. You're not going to lose a lot of football games where you generate 5 turnovers, guys. Usually you're going to come out on top, and defensively this has been one of the best teams in the nation this season. They're 5th, allowing only 13.2 points per game. So looking at the numbers here, guys, Texas A&M, they are 7-point favorites right now. We've got a total of 51.5. Unfortunately, we're a little bit behind on some line movement on this one. BYU was plus 10.5. We really like them at plus 10.5. Well, now they're only plus 7. This feels still like a couple too many points to give a very good BYU squad, even in the tough road environment. We've been very high on Texas Tech this season, but there's injury concerns for the Red Raiders, particularly at the quarterback position, with their starter listed as probable and their backup officially out. BYU has clearly proven they can get the job done on the road, winning at East Carolina, at Colorado, at Arizona, and at Iowa State. As great as Texas Tech has been, we feel better taking the considerable amount of points in this one. This would have definitely been a pinned comment play at plus 10.5. At plus 7, might not quite make it in. Another massive early game here, guys. In game 2, we're looking at number 2 Indiana Hoosiers. They're going on the road to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Now, Indiana, they're ranked number 2 in the nation. They're 9-0 on the season. They're coming off a 55-10 demolition there of Maryland. They haven't played necessarily the toughest schedule lately, but only a few weeks ago they knocked off Oregon at Oregon. They knocked off then number 9 Illinois. They're playing really, really well. They're comfortably looking like one of the best teams in the nation. And in that win over Maryland, yeah, wasn't even really that competitive. I mean, I guess in the first half it was 20-3 at halftime, but they just blew the doors off of them late. Loved what we saw just in general. Fernando Mendoza's a good day. He did get picked off once, but the running game just absolutely dominant. I mean, 367 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns on 52 carries. Crazy work there against a Maryland team that's not usually a walkover opponent. And defensively giving up only 10 points is also nuts. They generated 2 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries, so ended up with 5 turnovers and only giving up 10 points. A dominant performance on both sides of the ball from the Hoosiers, who are the 3rd best defense in the NCAA, giving up 10.8 points per game. Crazy work there. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Penn State Nittany Lions, who have not had an amazing time. They're 3-5 on the season. They're fresh off a 38-14 loss there at number 1 Ohio State. They did have a chance to get a win there at Iowa, but ended up coming up a point short. They lost by a point to Northwestern. They lost to UCLA. They're just not having a great time, and now they've got to face the number 2 team in the nation. That's a brutal stretch of schedule. Last week, we did not like what we saw in terms of quarterback play from Penn State. No touchdown passes, 1 interception, only 145 yards to the air. Nothing amazing happening in the ground game necessarily. I mean, Katron Allen, 21 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown isn't awful, but they scored 14 points in this game. They gave up 38. The defense had not even a chance there against Ohio State. Gave up 4 passing touchdowns, 316 yards to the air. Also gave up a rushing touchdown and 164 yards on the ground. We saw them turn the ball over only that one time, so not too bad from Penn State. They didn't generate, they generated 1 turnover of their own. So not exactly a banner day for the Nittany Lions. Their defense isn't amazing, 41st in the nation, giving up 21.8 points per game. I mean, we'll see what they can do in this one. They are playing at home, and they're getting 14.5 points. We've got a total of 50.5, but none of that's talking me out of the Indiana Hoosiers here at minus 14.5. The Hoosiers are arguably the best all-around team in the country. Indiana has been crushing the mid and lower tier Big Ten teams. Indiana is coming off 3 straight dominating blowout wins, taking down Michigan State, UCLA, and Maryland very comfortably, and we wouldn't be surprised to see another lopsided result this week. Indiana ranks in the top 10 in the nation, both offensive and defensive output. We're skeptical about Penn State, whether or not they're going to be able to keep pace here with a 107th ranked offense. The Nittany Lions are 0-5 in Big Ten play and coming off a tough 14-38 physical loss there against Ohio State. Definitely give me Indiana on this one. I think this is going to be a blowout win. Next on the docket, a bit of a deep cut. We're going to be looking at the James Madison Dukes going on the road to taking the Marshall Thundering Herd. Now, James Madison, they're 7-1 on the season. They're 5-0 in Sun Belt play, so looking very good. They're fresh off a 52-20 blowout win there at Texas State, so looking very good in that one, and really haven't been threatened here in a minute. They've played really well there against the Texas State Bobcats. What you would expect. Barnett, 4 touchdown passes, 1 interception, 264 yards on only 18 attempts. Very solid numbers there. The running game went nuts. 3 running touchdowns, 247 yards on only 41 carries. This team can really move the ball. And defensively, they didn't look bad either. Gave up 20 points, had 3 interceptions, so a very good day, forcing 3 turnovers. They slowed down but didn't quite stop the run, and they definitely slowed down the pass. So very good work there from James Madison across the board. And so far this season, they've been great defensively, 11th in the nation, giving up only 16.1 points per game. So we'll see what they can do here going on the road to take on an interesting Marshall team. The Thundering Herd, only 4-4 on the year. They are fresh off a 44-27 loss there at Coastal Carolina, so that wasn't what they were hoping for. They have also beaten Texas State this year, but that was a 3-point game, a very close one that came down to the last bit. Could have went either way. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Obviously in a bounce back spot after that loss. We didn't love what we saw in terms of quarterback play. I mean, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, only 153 yards on 36 attempts. That's not good. The running game, I mean, they did end up with 279 yards, but it took them 45 carries to get it and only 1 rushing touchdown. So, yeah, not a lot of positives there, and the defense got obliterated. They had no answer for the running game of Coastal Carolina. They had no answer for the passing game. They did generate 2 turnovers, so props on that, but the Thundering Herd did not have a good time defensively. In this season, they're 119th in the nation, giving up 32.5 points per game. Not exactly a great look. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Thundering Herd, they're getting 13.5 points at home. We've got a total of 54.5. We're going to be taking a road dog in this one. Give me James Madison minus 13.5. Get this one under 2 touchdowns if you possibly can. James Madison has been one of the top group of 5 teams in the country, and if the Monarchs want to make the playoff, they need to continue to put up strong results here against the very manageable teams they're going to be facing. This means running up the score and separating from their opponents in convincing fashion. James Madison has been great on both sides of the ball, 26th in the nation offense, 8th in defense. Marshall has had some better results in recent weeks, but in their last outing, the Thundering Herd took a big step back, losing very, very comfortably there against Coastal Carolina. So we will certainly be on the James Madison Dukes here at anything under 2 touchdowns here on Saturday. Hey guys, before we hop in here and look at the Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, quick reminder to check out stumpthespread.com. You can get over there by clicking the link in the description to see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members at stumpthespread.com are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, NFL, college football, and college basketball picks. We've had an extremely hot run as of late on the NBA prop side of things. That's been going very, very well. Some very solid work there going on in the NHL sector. Also, it's just a great time to get over there and get in on the action at stumpthespread.com. We have tons and tons of great information over there in the premium section, but you want to get over there even if you're not looking to spend any money or buy anything. Get over there and check out all the free picks under the free picks tab. Get over there and use our free to use bet size calculator. Make sure you're not blowing your whole bankroll on 1 bad or 2 bad days. Also get over there, and maybe this is the most important free thing, get on that free email newsletter, guys. It's a fantastic resource every single day. What we do, you go over to stumpthespread.com, you click the little green login button in the top right-hand corner, you set up a free account. All they're going to ask for is your name and your email address. That's it. You'll get 1 email straight to your inbox every single day. It'll have at least 1, oftentimes 2 or 3 free picks in it. Parlays included in those emails as well. Information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, good stuff like that. Also, NFL touchdown props every single weekend. They've been red hot. This last weekend, last Sunday, hit 3 big touchdown props there straight from the email. So you definitely want to get in on that. That's also where we'll keep you updated on any results for our premium picks. We'll keep you updated there on any sales or anything like that for the premium over there at stumpthespread.com. You definitely want to get in on that free email. You also want to get in on those premium picks, guys. Not a lot of results in yet today. Pretty loaded slate. A few winners already, though, especially on the college basketball side. We cashed Georgetown at +6. That was a 3/4 of a unit play. Almost took them on the money line. Wasn't quite brave enough to do it, and it would have came through because they ended up winning that game relatively comfortably. We also cashed the Georgia State Cincinnati under there on the college basketball, so that's looking pretty good. Lots of plays still live. The Raptors +2.5, that's very live. Luke Kennard, unfortunately, did not play in that game, so no action on that on his under assist, so that's not ideal, but we still got Jaden McDaniels live there. A couple props on AJ Green, very live there in that Bucks game. Kent State, -5.5, that one's still rolling. Got the Red Wings, the Winnipeg Jets, and the Blackhawks all live there on the NHL side. So lots still to go there. And who knows, depending on what time this video comes out, you might even be able to, get in on some of those premium picks for free, depending on if I get this out as early as I want to. So definitely get in on that if you guys are interested. Also, if you're a huge fan of what you've been seeing from us here every single day, you can click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe more importantly, get access to our members only giveaways. And we've been getting more and more YouTube channel members. Right now, we do 1 giveaway a week. If we can get around 10 to 12 more channel members, we can get up to 125 channel members, we will be doing 2 giveaways a week. I would love to be doing that. Love sending those Stump the Spread hoodies out every single week. We put the name of every single YouTube channel member in a big wheel. We spin that wheel. Right now, those giveaways are happening on the Monday videos, but if we end up getting 2 giveaways a week, we'll have to throw another day on there. So let's hope we can make that happen, guys. But do me a huge favor, slam that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's dive back in. We're looking at the Georgia Bulldogs, the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs, going on the road to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Georgia comes into this game 7-1 on the season. Their only loss was a 24-21 heartbreaker there against number 17 Alabama. They've been playing great recently, although they did survive a bit of a scare against Florida last week, eventually winning that game 24-20, but it was pretty close. They had a big win over Ole Miss recently. Georgia's really just been playing great. We love what we're seeing from Gunnar Stockton. He did get picked off once, though, against Florida, so that wasn't ideal, but overall, a pretty solid day. The running game for Georgia continues to be elite, so that is not a concern, guys. That's been very, very good. Lots of good wide receiver options here. They played only almost mistake-free. They did have that 1 interception, but other than that, no turnovers, and put up 24 points. Isn't that terrible when you're going against the Florida Gators? A tough SEC opponent. We liked what we saw from Georgia on defense, giving up only 20 points, gave up 1 passing touchdown, but only 166 yards through the air. It took the Gators 32 carries to get up to their 115 yards on the ground against these Georgia Bulldogs, a very, very good Georgia defense. They didn't force any turnovers. That's not the norm for them, but a very good day nonetheless, and helped their team get the win. as a team, guys, Georgia, playing their way through the heart of a tough SEC schedule, is only giving up 19.6 points per game. That is very, very solid stuff. So we'll see what they can do here going on the road to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. They're 5-4 on the year, not exactly having a great time. They're fresh off a big win there at Arkansas. That win snapped a 4-game losing streak. They lost to Tennessee, Texas A&M, Florida, and Texas. So not exactly the easiest road there, but they did play relatively well in that game at Arkansas. I will say this could be a letdown spot for them after that, but we'll see. We liked the quarterback play in general, but seeing two different guys under center is not a great look. That's not what you're hoping for. The running game looked okay. 106 yards on 38 carries, though, is not ideal, but a couple rushing touchdowns look good. Only that one interception, that's the only turnover of the day, and that, a lot of taking care of the ball will help you be in a good position. They did get the 35-38 win, but the Arkansas Razorbacks are still winless in the SEC. So let's not throw you a parade yet. Defensively, giving up 35 points to Arkansas is not great. They only gave up 194 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown, but gave up a lot in the running game and generated 0 turnovers. So not an amazing day for the Mississippi State Bulldogs defense. And over the course of the year, they haven't been that amazing defensively. They were 73rd in the nation, giving up 24.7 points per game. So look at the numbers here, guys. The Mississippi State Bulldogs, they're getting 9.5 points at home. We've got a total of 56.5. I'll be taking Georgia here at minus 9.5. They haven't been as consistently dominant as we'd like to see from a top 5 ranked squad. It would be nice to see them separate on the scoreboard in this one against one of the more manageable opponents in the SEC. Mississippi State is better than their record would indicate, but the Bulldogs have had their issues defending leads, particularly in recent conference home games. And by Bulldogs, I'm talking about the Mississippi State Bulldogs have had that issue. Georgia has had too many close calls for their liking, and we expect a focused squad to come out into this contest looking to make a statement. Definitely like Georgia here to win this game by double digits. Next up, guys, we'll look at the Missouri State Bears, newcomers to the FBS, going on the road to take on the Liberty Flames. Now, Missouri State is having a great season out there in the Conference USA. They're 5-3 overall. They're 4th in the Conference USA with a 3-1 conference record. They've won 3 straight games. They just took down FIU their last time out in a very solid 28-21 win. Liking a lot of what we're seeing from the Bears, especially offensively. Jacob Clark looking good. Only 163 passing yards, but 2 passing touchdowns. Lawrence has been great in the running game. He had 14 carries for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns there against the Panthers. Very, very good work overall as a team. They ran the ball 37 times for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns. This Missouri State Bears team, they can move the ball, and their defense wasn't bad either. They did fumble it away once, but their defense was very, very solid. Gave up 21 points, which isn't terrible at all. The running game, they really held the Florida International running game in check. Gave up only 115 yards on 35 carries. I mean, it was pretty good work. They generated a couple fumble recoveries. That was a big, big difference maker in this game. So across the board, Missouri State comes into this one playing really well. Over the course of the season, they're giving up 27 points per game. That's 87th in the nation. But if you look at what they've given up in the conference schedule, it's much, much more manageable. Of course, they gave up 73 points at USC in their season opener, but a big bounce back ever since then. They've been playing great. So we'll see what they do here on the road at Liberty. The Flames are 4-4 on the season. They're also 3-1 in conference play. They're fresh off a 59-30 win there over Delaware, which, Delaware, not a top team in the Conference USA by any stretch. In that win, we saw Liberty, they didn't do poorly, obviously. They put up 59 points, but I'm not going to throw you a parade. Their starting quarterback, 2 touchdown passes, 221 yards, a good day from him. The running attack is really what did it. They ended up with 6 rushing touchdowns, 4 from Evan Dickens. So the goal for Missouri State will be to find a way to slow down or stop the run, something they've definitely shown they are capable of doing. Liberty also didn't turn the ball over in that game, and the Blue Hens did turn the ball over. They, the Liberty created 1 interception and no fumble recovery, so just that 1 turnover, but they did slow down the run. The problem is Liberty looked super vulnerable to the pass in that game, so we'll see if that continues to be an issue for them. Over the course of the season, Liberty has not been a terrible defensive team, giving up 22.6 points per game, but nothing too special. They've also played a very, very soft schedule. So we'll see what they can do here playing at home. They are 7.5 point favorites. We had a total of 51.5, but guys, I like Missouri State here getting 7.5 points. Perhaps somewhat surprisingly, they have made an immediate impact in the Conference USA, 5-3 overall, 3-1 in conference. Missouri State has shown some of the better quarterback play in the Conference USA this season, and that makes the Bears a clear threat. The Bears have been really solid on the road, winning at Marshall, at MTSU, and at New Mexico State. Missouri State has been arguably better on the road than at home, even though Liberty is one of the upper tier squads in the Conference USA. We feel like Vegas is giving the Flames a little too much respect in here, giving them over a touchdown, so I will certainly be on the Missouri State Bears here, getting 7.5 points, and this has potential to be our dog of the day. Next on the docket, guys, we got another deep cut. We're looking at the Florida International Panthers going on the road to take on the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. Florida International, they're 3-5 on the season. They're fresh off that loss at Missouri State, and not exactly having a great time per se, although they have done some positive things. Coming into this game, I mean, I'm sure they're very happy with how they were able to move the ball through the air against the Missouri State Bears. They didn't do that much in the running game, though, so definitely something to work on there. They didn't do a great job of holding on to the ball, too. You can't fumble it away twice. Like, those are really bad turnovers. Like, interceptions can happen, but fumbles, that seems like it's much more controllable. Now, defensively, they gave up quite a bit to the run and to the pass, so wasn't a great day there defensively for Florida International, but over the course of the year, they haven't been a terrible defense, hovering around the 100th in the nation kind of mark, so obviously not great, but, not absolute bottom of the barrel. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against Middle Tennessee. The Blue Raiders are 1-7 on the season. They are 0-4 in conference play. Last week, they lost by 3 against Jacksonville State. Not exactly a terrible loss, making things close against a good opponent, but man, it kind of feels like they might have, exhausted themselves in that one because not a whole lot of winning going on here for Middle Tennessee. They've had 2 touchdown passes, 1 interception there last week. Okay, fine. That was a pretty solid performance. The running game did not look good, though, and the defense looked pretty mediocre, giving up 24 points, generating 0 turnovers, giving up a lot to the pass and a ton to the run. Although, I guess they did make it a little bit of tough sledding there, but I don't know. They had no answer for Cam Cook there of Jacksonville State. So we'll see what they can do at home in this one, but Middle Tennessee is not having a good season. They are 98th in the nation in points against, so right there with right there with Florida International, not a very good defensive team. So looking at the numbers here, guys, Middle Tennessee, they are 1.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 51.5. Guys, we were willing to take Florida International at -1.5. I'll definitely take them at +1.5. This is more of a bet against MTSU than a bet for Florida International. Middle Tennessee State, they've been terrible this year. Horrible record, horrible in-conference record. FIU has the clear edge on the offensive side of the ball. The Panthers have proven they can win on the road with their win at Western Kentucky, 25-6. MTSU is 0-4 at home, and they have shown a very weak home field advantage. So I will be leaning here quite a bit towards the Florida International Panthers. Rolling right along here in one of the biggest games of the day, we're looking at the number 3 Texas A&M Aggies going on the road to take on the number 22 Missouri Tigers. Now, number 3 Texas A&M, they've been having a pretty freaking good season. They are 8-0, cruising out there. They're fresh off a 49-25 beatdown at LSU. Now they got to go on the road and try and win their 3rd straight road game, and they've done great. They beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. They beat Arkansas on the road. They just blew out LSU on the road. Now it's time to go to Mizzou. I think they're going to be probably pretty much fine here. We'll see. Looking at, their game against LSU, a comfortable win. Marcel Reed, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That is a concern. LSU has a very good defense. Don't get me wrong, but you cannot be giving the ball away. Marcel Reed also ran the ball 13 times for 108 yards and a couple touchdowns. So that makes up for a lot. And the Aggies did a great job running the ball. So that obviously all helps a ton. And the defense looked excellent, giving up 25 points to LSU. Did give up 2 passing touchdowns, but only gave up 60 yards on the ground. I guess a negative 44-yard run mixed in there. So that stat is a little bit skewed, but did definitely not get dominated by the run. Didn't generate any turnovers, so that's not ideal, but still a very solid showing from a Texas A&M Aggies defense that's 59th in the nation, giving up 23.6 points per game. So we'll see what they can do here as they go on the road. They're going to be taking on the Missouri Tigers, who are down to 22nd in the nation. They're coming to this game fresh off a tough 17-10 loss there at number 10 Vanderbilt. The Tigers, I mean, we've liked a lot of what we've seen from them, but 6-2, their only losses are to Alabama and to Vanderbilt. Like, you got to cut you some slack at that point. Now, I don't know if they're ready to run the big dogs here. We'll see. We didn't love what we saw in terms of quarterback play last week. Only 1 touchdown, 260 yards through the air. A couple different guys seeing lots of snaps. The running game looked okay, but only 170 yards on 41 carries and no rushing touchdowns. Not a monster day. They also fumbled the ball away once, so definitely lots of room for improvement there. The offense coming off a pretty bad day. Now, defensively, holding Vanderbilt to only 17 points is kind of nuts. They did struggle a little bit against the run. They also generated a turnover, so not a bad day. I mean, you held a college football team in the top 25 to 17 points, so this is a crazy day for any defense, but I don't know if that's something we can count on from Mizzou. Over the course of the season, they are 13th in points against, giving up 16.8 per game. So very, very good. But they've had their moments where I've been a little bit, questioned this defense. I mean, they gave up 31 points to Kansas, for instance. So we'll see. They also could be a little bit banged up here. So looking at the numbers, guys, Missouri is getting 7 points at home. We've got a total of 48.5. Texas A&M is at -7 is going to be our play in this game. They're getting a lot of respect with the spread on the road against a solid opponent, but it's very understandable when you consider Missouri's starting quarterback is out with an injury. Outside of that injury to Missouri's starting quarterback, both these squads are relatively healthy. We'll see, though. Texas A&M has been one of the better road teams in the country, winning at Notre Dame, at Arkansas, and at LSU. The Aggies completely dominated LSU in a tough environment in their last outing. I see that momentum carrying over for them in this game. Speaking of Vanderbilt, guys, we're going to be looking at the Auburn Tigers going to Vanderbilt to take on the number 16 Commodores. Now, the Auburn Tigers, they're 4-5 on the season. They're all the way down 1-5, very close to the bottom of the SEC. Obviously, they've had an insanely tough schedule, but they've lost some winnable games, just like last week when they lost 10-3 against Kentucky. Yeah, Auburn not exactly having a great time out there. We didn't like what we saw in terms of quarterback play at all. Daniels and Arnold both really struggling under center. The running game, 40 carries to get 118 yards and no rushing touchdowns, and no touchdowns in the entire game is pretty brutal. They also fumbled it away once, so 2 turnovers in a 10-3 game. Yikes. That is going to be really, really tough to win. Now, the defense was excellent. Only giving up 10 points, generating a couple turnovers, not giving up much to the run, not giving up much to the pass. Really don't have anything bad to say about that Auburn defense, but the offense, woof, guys. Not exactly looking great. And over the course of the season, it's been an excellent defense. 18th in points against, very, very good. They are 120th in the nation in passing yards per game. Yikes. They are 104th in points per game. Yikes. So we'll see what they can do here going on the road to take on the Commodores, who are in a bounce back spot after a tough 34-31 loss there at Texas. Their only losses this season were at number 20 Texas and at number 10 Alabama. So I think the Commodores can feel pretty good about what they've done so far this season. In that loss against the Longhorns, they came back, made a crazy comeback to only lose by 3. We liked what we saw from Diego Pavia, 3 touchdowns, 365 yards to the air. Dude's a monster. He also ran the ball 14 times for 43 yards and a touchdown. He can't be asked to do much more. We also liked what we saw from Eli Stowers, a monster game. Caught 7 balls for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, the running game, outside of Pavia, isn't anything too special. The concern right now for me for the Commodores would be the defense. They gave up 34 points last week, made Arch Manning look amazing. That's a problem. They also gave up a lot to the run. And you give up 34 points and generate 0 turnovers. That's a pretty bad day for your defense. And over the course of the year, this defense has been good, but it hasn't been dominant. They're 31st in the nation, giving up 20.4 points per game. That's not bad. They're also 13th in the nation in points per game, scoring 37.6 per contest. So very, very good stuff there. We'll see what they can do here on their home field. That's got to definitely help. They're 6.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 45.5 in this game, and we are taking Vanderbilt at minus 6.5. I do still think Auburn is better than their 1-5 SEC record, but after their head coach was let go, I don't expect a big effort out of the Tigers this week on the road. Auburn's been one of the better defenses in the SEC. That's great, but their offense has been horrible. 110th in the nation in total output, 119th in passing. Vanderbilt needs a bounce back, and I think this is the spot they get it to try and stay in this playoff race. And the Commodores, they showed an impressive amount of fight in the fourth quarter against Texas. I think we're going to see that carry over here a little bit into this one. I think Vanderbilt is going to win this one comfortably by probably closer to 2 or 3 scores than the 1 score they need. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Iowa State Cyclones going on the road to take on the TCU Horned Frogs. Iowa State is 5-4 on the season, but it's gotten bleak. They've lost 4 straight games, losing to at Cincinnati, at Colorado, getting obliterated there by number 11 BYU, and then last week, a 24-19 loss against Arizona State. Not a good look. The Cyclones are imploding. This team has just been on a downward trajectory for quite some time. We did not necessarily like what we saw in terms of quarterback play last week, only completing half of our passes, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not a good look. Carson Hansen actually did have a good day running the ball, 18 carries for 113 yards. Only 1 rushing touchdown scored in the game, though, and not great. They turned the ball over only that one time, but the offense just really did not look and has not looked good here for a minute. Defensively giving up 24 points is not a terrible day, but they could not stop the run. They gave up 228 rushing yards to Jeff Sims on 29 carries. That is not a good look, guys. You can't be completely unable to stop a running quarterback. They did generate a couple of turnovers, 3 total turnovers in that game, and still lost. Yikes, guys. Not a good time to be an Iowa State Cyclones fan in terms of football. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Over the course of the season, they're 46th in the nation, giving up 22 points per game, and all their offensive numbers are starting to fall. So we'll see what they can do here on the road, taking on the TCU Horned Frogs. They've been a little bit all over the place this year. They've also lost against Arizona State in a 3-point game. They lost at Kansas State, but their last 2 games have looked much better, beating Baylor 42-36, and then going to West Virginia and winning that game 23-17 last week. So very good stuff. Obviously, liked what we saw in general. Josh Hoover, 1 touchdown, 247 yards to the air. Completed 24-39 passes, not a bad day. We liked what we saw from Trent Battle and Barnes also running the ball, a solid running day there from TCU. Definitely some, problems in there. A few negative rushes mixed in is not great, but a good day for sure against West Virginia team that, especially at home, tends to play pretty hard. Defensively, they did give up 301 passing yards, but that took 41 attempts for West Virginia to get there. And in terms of turnovers, they didn't generate any, so that's not a dominant performance from their defense. And over the course of the year, this TCU defense hasn't been amazing. 75th in the nation, giving up 25.1 points per game, but they are in the top 30 nationally in terms of points per game. So looking at the numbers here, guys, TCU 7.5-point favorites. We got a total of 57.5 in this game. We'll be taking TCU here at -7. We are fully out on the Iowa State Cyclones. They continue to head in the wrong direction in recent weeks. 4 straight losses there, back-to-back home defeats. That's inexcusable. Iowa State lost at home in their last outing against Arizona State, who is playing without their starting quarterback, who is their best player. During this stretch, Iowa State has also lost to Colorado, and without the Buffaloes have looked in recent weeks, that's a very bad loss. TCU's trending in the right direction, winning back-to-back games. We like for the Horned Frogs to come through at home in this one with the win and cover. Fully into the evening slate of games, we're looking at the Florida State Seminoles going on the road to take in the Clemson Tigers in some ACC action. Florida State, they are coming off a 42-7 blowout win there over Wake Forest. They needed that win to snap a 4-game skid, losing at Virginia against then number 3 Miami, against Pitt, and then at Stanford. So a nice little bounce back, taking their frustrations out there on Wake Forest. Wake Forest team that had been looking decent for a minute. Florida State dominant in that game. Castellanos, 271 yards and a touchdown through the air. Completed 12 of 16 passes. Very, very efficient there. The running game looked great. 150 yards on the ground on 40 carries and 5 rushing touchdowns. They only turned the ball over one time. That was via the fumble. No interceptions there for anybody throwing the ball for Florida State. So a very good day there offensively and an even better day defensively. Giving up only 7 points is crazy. They did give up that 1 touchdown pass, but also had an interception. They generated a fumble recovery as well. So a very good day out there. They gave up almost nothing to the run and very little to the pass. Florida State played a great game there at home defensively. So we'll see if they can replicate any of that over the course of the year. They're 33rd in the nation in points against. So very, very good stuff there. Now they're taking on an interesting kind of all over the place team in this one in the Clemson Tigers. Clemson is 3-5 on the season. They just lost last week 46-45 against Duke. They lost the week before that against SMU. They've also lost to Georgia Tech and Syracuse this season and to LSU to open their year. This just has not been the season that Clemson was supposed to be having. So we'll see what they can do to pull things together here towards the end. But obviously this is going to be way too little, way too late for most of the major reasons. We'll see how things go in this one, though. Against Duke in that tough 1-point loss, Klubnik was actually good. 2 touchdowns, 385 yards to the air. Not like that Duke defense is very good, though, I will say that. The running game was working. The defense, though, holy cow, the Clemson defense was terrible. Got obliterated there by the passing game and the running game. Didn't generate any turnovers. It was a rough showing from a pretty bad defense. So looking at the numbers here, guys, Clemson, they're 1.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 56.5 in this game. We'll be taking Florida State here, getting a 1.5. As frustrating as they've been this season, there's no denying the Seminoles have shown a much higher ceiling than Clemson has this year when playing up to their potential. Even with their disappointing 4-4 record, Florida State is still first in the nation in offense and 26th in total defense. These clearly aren't the numbers of a 500 squad. Clemson, on the other hand, been very mediocre. 41st in offense, 53rd in defense. The Clemson Tigers haven't done much with their home field advantage. They're 0-4 in home games against a group of 4 opponents this year. So I think this is an excellent spot to back the Florida State Seminoles here playing on the road. Rounding into the home stretch, guys, we're looking at the Florida Gators going on the road to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Now, the Gators are only 3-5 on the season, having a rough time out there. They're fresh off a very disappointing 24-20 loss to Georgia, a game where they really, were hoping they could make some sort of turnaround and just couldn't quite get it. The quarterback play did not look great. 166 yards, 1 touchdown through the air. Not ideal. Now, this is going against a very tough defense, but still, the running game actually was okay. 32 carries, 115 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Not a great game, obviously, offensively. You only scored 20 points, but not the end of the world. They also didn't turn the ball over. So steps in the right direction, and doing that against Georgia is impressive. But defensively, they weren't able to do enough. They gave up 24 points, couldn't stop the pass, couldn't really stop the Georgia run, and the offense couldn't get enough going in that one. So it was a bit of a rough day for the Florida Gators there. A tough, very, very close loss after jumping out to, a lead in the first quarter and then having it tied at halftime to eventually lose by 4. Can't feel very good. Now, over the course of the year, their defense has been good, giving up 20.5 points per game. That's 32nd in college football. We'll see how good that defense looks this week at Kentucky. The Kentucky Wildcats are 3-5 on the season. They're fresh off of that crazy low-scoring 10-3 win over Auburn, so well played there. The wins have been few and far between for Kentucky this year, I will say that, though. We liked what we saw in terms of quarterback play last week at times, but those 2 interceptions is a huge problem, albeit against a very good Auburn defense, but still. The running game didn't get that much going, but did do a little bit of work, but overall, you only scored 10 points in the game. I'm not going to call your offense awesome. Your defense, though, I will call very awesome. Only giving up 3 points, generating a couple turnovers, shutting down the run, shutting down the pass, not letting anything go. A very, very good day there for Kentucky defensively. And they've been an excellent team on defense all year long, or at least most of the year. Now, they did have that game where they gave up 56 against Tennessee, but they also held Texas to 16. They held Georgia to 35. So they've had some good defensive games mixed in there. So looking at the numbers, guys, the Wildcats are getting 3 points at home. We've got a total of 44.5 in this game. I'm going to be leaning towards Kentucky at +3. Both these teams are better than their respective 3-5 records, but this should be a great opportunity for Kentucky to get an upset win at home. It'll be tough for Florida to refocus coming off that huge rivalry loss last time out there against Georgia. Florida has a number of competitive results that have gotten away from them this season. And yeah, I mean, it's got to take a toll on your mental. Kentucky nearly upset Texas in a recent home game, and the Wildcats looked really good defensively in their last outing, beating Auburn on the road 10-3. We're taking the home team in this one with the points. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Navy Midshipmen going on the road to take on number 10 Notre Dame. The Midshipmen are 7-1 on the year. They are fresh off a 31-17 kind of blowout looking loss there against North Texas. So a huge bounce back spot for them, a massive, massive resume builder, and really their only chance for a big resume builder. So we'll see if they can come up in this one. Against North Texas, they did not come up with much. Only passed the ball 14 times for 80 yards and 2 interceptions. They ran the ball 44 times for 311 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So that was all good. That's what they want to do. But defensively, you got to be able to stop somebody, and they could not stop North Texas. They gave a lot to the pass, but no touchdowns. They gave up 4 rushing touchdowns there to Caleb Hawkins. He had 13 carries, 197 yards, and 4 touchdowns against him. That is brutal. So, yeah, the Midshipmen not looking that great in a bit of a, against a bit of a better opponent. Over the course of the year, they're first in the nation rushing yards, but 63rd in points allowed per game. So that's not great, and they're going to have to play some defense here on the road against number 10 Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish are 6-2 on the year. They've now won, after losing their first 2 games of the season, 1 by 3 and 1 by 1, they've gone on quite the rampage, beating Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, beating then number 20 USC, and then last week a 25-10 blowout win there over Boston College. Blowouts may be a little bit strong, but that game was very much in control there for Notre Dame. CJ Carr had a good game, 2 touchdown passes, 300 yards to the air. The running game looked great. Jeremiah Love, 17 carries for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. So really struggling to find anything negative to say about Notre Dame in that game. I guess they fumbled it away once, but the defense looked great. Obviously, Boston College is terrible, but they only allowed 10 points, generated 3 interceptions. A very, very good day. Didn't give up too much to the pass, didn't give up anything to the run. This Notre Dame team has been very respectable this season, especially, I'm going to say especially on defense. They've been really good on both sides of the ball. They're 28th in points against this year, and if you took out like that crazy game where they gave up 30 points to Purdue, that number gets even lower. So love what we're seeing from the Fighting Irish. Looking at the numbers for this game, Notre Dame, they're 27.5 point favorites. This number has been steaming in the Fighting Irish's direction. We've got a total of 55.5. We liked Notre Dame at -25.5, and I guess this is still under 4 touchdowns, so maybe we still like it. As much as we like Navy in their ground game, I don't see the Midshipmen being able to stop Notre Dame's offense at all. Notre Dame is 82nd in the nation in yards allowed, and that's not great considering the caliber of opponents the Midshipmen have faced. Notre Dame has been one of the hottest teams in the nation over the past month and a half, and that positive momentum should continue. Another thing to keep in mind is Notre Dame's defense is strong up front and athletic enough to disrupt Notre Dame's triple option attack. If this is the case, that means turnovers are a potential positive catalyst for Notre Dame to cover this big spread. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I appreciate everybody watching these games. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you click the link in the description. Get over there to stumpthespread.com and check out everything we offer over there. Check out those free picks. There'll be free college basketball, free college football. Definitely want to get in on the stuff in the free picks tab. Use that free to use bet size calculator. Definitely get in on that email list, guys. It's a fantastic resource every single day. And check out those red hot premium plays, guys. Definitely want to get in on there. There'll be tons of premium college football bets in there tomorrow. So get in on that if you're interested, guys. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.